Alright, so today I didn't film it in the beginning. I don't know why. I guess I just got carried away with sanding, but I sanded down the whole front end. I've got some Rust-Oleum that I used a long time ago to paint my old truck. I rolled it on. Came out a little thick, so I'm going to actually try to use it on the front of this car. I just want it to be white. I don't care if it's a different shade or anything, so when it rains or even in pictures from far away, it's still all one color. I'm not a big fan of having a different color front end on the car. So I went ahead and sanded it down. I just got done putting mineral spirits all over the paint to kind of just get all the sanding dust that I did off. I washed it prior to doing this, but I want to make sure it's all off so the paint is as decent as it can. Now I'm not expecting a very great turnout on this paint. It's my first time ever painting, so I'm just hoping it's just one color, which, I mean, if I'm spraying it on, it's going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and start priming the car with some rattle can primer I have just laying around. It's nothing really all great or anything like that, but I do plan on wet sanding after I prime it and then laying down the coats. A little update on the primer. I went ahead and primed it all yesterday. I did absolutely no body work to the car. The fenders are both really beat up. The hood's a little beat up and the bumper's pitted like no other, but it's going to be a drift car, so until I put the Sylvia front on, I just want this to be one color for the time being. So I rattle can primed it. I am going to spray it with a gun just because I have a gun and I have the paint already. So it's going to be a whole lot easier for me to just learn how to practice on it. But other than that, as you can see in the background, the car's already primed and it is ready for paint. Until then, I'll show you the paint afterwards, and then I'll show you all the little body damage that are already done to both fenders. There's a big chunk of Bondo just ripped off from the previous owner, but I'm not really too concerned about that. Like I said, I'm going to put a Sylvia front on the front, so it's not like a big problem for me. Now, as you can see from the previous clips, I went ahead and painted the car. It turned out pretty decent. It's a 30-foot paint job, so it's nothing too great up front. I didn't do any body work. I mean, I sanded the big cracks and stuff and the Bondo chips, but I didn't do anything to really make a smooth body. The fenders were pretty beat up since I pulled them off the old S13, the black one, when we first got it. And I didn't really want to expect great results, but from 30 feet away, it does look like a one-color 240, which it's always bothers me when my 240s are multicolored. So knowing that I can easily spray it real quick and not have a great job, it still all be somewhat, not the same shade, but at least one color. So when it rains or it is dark outside, you can't tell. That makes me pretty happy knowing that. The paint, I made a few mistakes. You can't tell from a distance, but when you get close, it definitely shows. I went ahead and I didn't drain the compressor, so there was water in the lines. The water got on the paint, and I have an oiled compressor, so there was oil. I didn't run a filter, so there was oil on the paint, and on the third clip of me spraying the third final coat, it went ahead and I dripped it on the hood, and you can see me grab a sock for some reason. I don't know why I grabbed a sock. But the fuzzies got on the paint, and when I tried to take them off, the paint came off as well. But, I mean, it's Rust-Oleum. I can just dab it on real quick or hit the spray can and rattle can it real quick, and no one's gonna know. It turned out great. For my first time, I'm not gonna complain at all. It's a 30-foot paint job, there's no doubt about that. But other than that, it's actually really nice. So far, I'm impressed with it. When the drift event comes around the 15th of April, we'll see if I hit a cone and how soft the paint is. That's the only worry I have right now, because I didn't use any hardener or anything. I don't know much about paint, so I don't know if that makes a difference. But so far, I am super stoked. I will give an update after the drift event to see if the paint if the paint stood up to all the cones and the damage I did to it. But you know, I mean, for free paint job, since I already had all the materials and everything, I'm not complaining. It was just cheap Rust-Oleum. I think we spent like $30 on the gallon 2 or 3 years ago when I painted a truck with a roll-on with it. So, I mean, it cost to benefit wise, it was perfect for me. I didn't spend any money, and now I have a one color 240. So I will see you guys next time then.